Good morning/afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a challenge that I believe many of us face, the delicate balance between the demands of everyday life and the nourishment of our spiritual lives. As Jesus said in Matthew 6:21, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." We can so easily get pulled in different directions, with our time and energy divided between earthly concerns and heavenly priorities. And yet, as John 10:10 reminds us, Jesus came that we may have life and have it to the full. God desires for us to live abundantly, not to be torn apart. The danger of neglecting either side. It's a slippery slope when we start neglecting one side or the other. 1 John 2:15 warns us, "Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them." When we become overly consumed by the material and the temporal, our connection to the divine can suffer. On the flip side, Matthew 6:33 cautions us against prioritizing the spiritual to the exclusion of the practical. Jesus said, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. We can't be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. There has to be a balance. Keys to finding balance. So how do we strike that balance? Let's look at 4 key strategies grounded in Scripture. Prioritize time for spiritual practices. Mark 1:35 shows us that very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. If the Son of God needed that dedicated time with the Father, how much more do we? Colossians 3:16 encourages us to let the message of Christ dwell among you richly through worship, teaching, and meditation. Integrate faith into everyday activities. Colossians 3:23 reminds us, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." We can't compartmentalize our spiritual lives. We're called to see the sacred in the secular, to maintain an attitude of gratitude, as 1 Thessalonians 5:18 prescribes. Maintain healthy boundaries and rhythms. In Genesis 2:02, we see that by the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing, so on the 7th day he rested. If the creator of the universe needed a Sabbath, how much more do we? And Matthew 6:34 instructs us, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." Each day has enough trouble of its own. Avoiding the trap of overwork and anxiety is key. Seek accountability and community. Hebrews 10:24-25 exhorts us to consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up, meeting together. We need each other on this journey. Proverbs 15:22 reminds us that plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Who are the people in your life that can provide wisdom and support as you strive for balance? Friends, balance is not easy. There will always be tensions and temptations to lean too far one way or the other, but as 2 Corinthians 12:9 assures us, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." God's strength sustains us, even in our struggles, to find the right rhythms. Let's commit ourselves anew to this balance, prioritizing spiritual nourishment while fully engaging in the practical demands of life. May we live with our treasures rightly aligned, glorifying God in all we do. What first step will you take this week to move toward greater balance? I'm happy to discuss further.